Sabir, tell us.
I think, Anju, we can start this session now. Thank you.
Okay. Alexandra, go.
Can you see my screen?
We can. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And of course it doesn't want to play. Give me one moment, guys.
Do you want me to share?
Yes, please. For some reason,
Okay, don't worry.
version isn't working. I tested it 5 times.
Yeah.
Usually happens, yeah.
Yeah, right when you need to present, right?
Around the world, local communities are confronting the impacts of climate change. On the front lines, community-led adaptation champions are building climate resilience through inspiring initiatives. At the Global Center on Adaptation, we spotlight and support locally led adaptation efforts by communities and individuals on the front line. Our locally led Adaptation Champions Awards are designed to reward inspiring, innovative, and scalable locally led solutions from across the globe. Last year at COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh, we recognized 4 organizations for their pioneering adaptation efforts in their communities.
Do we connect these local communities who know what the problems are and the solutions are to where the big money is?
In 2023, we will award winners in 4 categories: capacity building, business adaptation solutions, women in leadership, innovation in devolving finance. Are you or your community leading on the front lines in the fight against climate change? Tell us about your work by applying for the 2023 Local Adaptation Champions Awards.
Thank you, Shireen. Hello, everybody. Good morning to my colleagues who are joining from Latin America. I think it's good afternoon, probably, from colleagues joining from Africa, and good evening for colleagues joining from Asia and everything in between. Thank you for joining us today. We're really excited to share with you the work that's been done by the winners of the GCA's 2023 Local Adaptation Champions Awards. So as some of you will know, these were awards that we started in 2022. So last year was the second iteration. And the reason we did this as part of the activities of the GCA's Global Hub on Locally Led Adaptation, which is based in Dhaka, where I am right now. It's an online hub. You can visit it. My colleagues will put the link on to the chat. But for us, I mean, this was a way, first of all, to recognize the immense contribution that local communities are already making on adaptation. So I think that this simply does not get the kind of focus, spotlight, and attention that it needs. In fact, this was something that we realized when we did a piece of work with the media, first globally in 2022 with Thomson Reuters Foundation, last year with BBC Media Action. One of the things they threw up that was surprising even to me, because I always thought that particularly in countries like Bangladesh, that climate change is so much in the news. But what they found, in fact, that while there's a lot of discussion on the global negotiations, and when there's a climate disaster, there's very little focus on the threats that communities are facing, you know, the slow onset threats that they're constantly having to deal with, and the innovation that they're showing in the solutions that they come up with. So for us, this was very much a way of recognizing that important contribution in a forum like COP. But also it was a really critical way for us to learn. I think when it comes to local action, we've, have a lot of learning over decades. But now what we have to learn to do is how we modify that learning that we have on implementing locally led action in the adaptation and climate change in a sort of climate compromised world. And this has to be really quick learning because we don't have the time. And we felt that through activities such as the awards, the annual publication that we now bring out on locally led adaptation, we would hear from communities. You would write in and tell us all the important work that you're doing. And the response has been really heartening. I mean, clearly people are so eager and willing to share their work, to share their experiences, to share their challenges, the learning, etc. So we've had a fantastic response both years that the awards that have run. Then, of course, I mean, for us, a key goal, we as facilitators, the Global Center on Adaptation, we see our role very much as brokers. So as I'm sure you'll agree that, two key problems with locally led action so far has been one, that it's quite fragmented. So you have many, many organizations that are all doing excellent work, trying to achieve the same goals of community engagement, mobilization, leadership, etc. And the second, probably related goal is the fact that there's very little money for implementing the actions that communities then decide are priorities. So for us, this was a way of working with many organizations with this experience and expertise to learn from them, to cross-fertilize ideas, to across regions in countries, etc. But also through our adaptation acceleration program, what we do is that we work in areas where we've identified an existing IFI project being developed. These are regular development IFI projects, and we find opportunities where we can embed adaptation. And then what we do is we support them through our local partners. We support local partners to develop so-called people's adaptation plans. And these plans then inform investments by the IFIs. And this is a win-win situation for both, because IFIs often have very little time and resources available to do meaningful participation with communities. This is very much an expertise that local groups and organizations have. So we're able to bring the two together. And we're doing this actively. We had a session earlier this morning on Gobeshona as well, describing some of the work that we're doing in Bangladesh along these lines. So for us, the awards are a way of identifying these best practices that we can learn from, that we can, organizations that we can go back to when there are opportunities like the ones I described. And then, of course, it's to contribute in whatever small way through the award money to further sort of support the scaling up and replication of the work that the communities are doing. So there's a cash award that's linked. There's also, last year, the Adaptation Fund joined us in offering the winners the chance to participate in their readiness events. And again, that is an opportunity not just for the winning organizations to figure out how they can possibly access funding from organizations like the Adaptation Fund, but it's also an opportunity for them to be able to speak to the others who are in these readiness events about their locally led efforts. And it's a learning opportunities for the others who participate in those readiness events. So we had the award ceremony at COP. We usually make it, really high level. So the jury we had last year was a high level ministerial level jury. We usually try and make this a win, not just for the organization, but the country. So we try to get the minister or a government representative from the winning country to come and give away the award. And I think you'll hear from some of our winners that these strategies are really working. I mean, for us, it's been a learning experience, and two of the big learnings I think that we've had so far. The first is that the countries where we get the most innovative solutions and the most innovative sort of successful examples of locally led adaptation are the ones where the systems already exist, right, for locally led action. And this is no surprise. This was something that was highlighted by the GST as well, that you need supportive systems for this to really flourish and scale up. And then the other one that we had was that the awards, beyond just sort of the goals that we had, there are many ancillary benefits that the winners also have. So for instance, you'll hear from some of the winners from this year. We're lucky enough to have our previous year's winners also to join in a conversation here, but they'll tell you about the other benefits that they've had from winning these awards, whether it's more attention from their governments, whether it's more attention from donors, additional funding that's come their way since they won the awards. So I'd be really grateful if the winners could tell us about their work. We'll try to summarize that for you very succinctly in a video, but then also to tell us, you know, whether the awards have had an impact on their work, how in future we can support them. And I really hope, so we will run the awards again this year. We hope that by about May, we should put out the call for applications. So this is also your opportunity for our audience to speak to the winners and figure out, you know, what are the bits they highlighted, etc. So any questions you have for us on the process, we're happy to answer as well. So without further ado, let me, we had 4 categories like the previous year, a different set of categories. Let me invite the winners of our Women in Leadership category, which was the Pastoral Women's Council. So we'll start off with a brief video before I hand over to the team.
Northern Tanzania, climate change-related hazards like droughts and flooding threaten livelihoods and create food insecurity for pastoralist societies. In these communities, women have limited opportunities to access resources or gain income from climate-resilient livelihoods. But their knowledge of drought mitigation and adaptation strategies are crucial. The Pastoral Women's Council Tanzania is increasing women's inclusion in traditionally men-only spaces in indigenous pastoralist communities. Members of the Lake Natron community are accepting the award on behalf of all members of the Pastoral Women's Council Tanzania, the winner in the Women in Leadership category. Indigenous pastoralist women undertake training and then form committees that plan, implement, and monitor climate change adaptation actions in their communities, like grass seed banks, which have restored degraded land and provide income-generating activities for women, and rainwater harvesting, which ensures access to water during dry seasons using affordable, sustainable technologies. This Local Adaptation Champions Award will provide leadership training to 50 climate change adaptation women champions, and 5 women groups will be trained about grass seed banks and rainwater harvesting. Congratulations to the Pastoral Women's Council Tanzania, empowering women to claim their rights and achieve equality as decision makers in pastoralist societies.
Please join me in congratulating the Pastoral Women's Council Tanzania. We're very pleased to have with us not just Stella James, who joined us, who's from the Pastoral Women's Council, and she joined us at COP for the awards ceremony, but we also have Napir Mukare, who's a community representative. Really looking forward to hearing from both of you. Please, over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Yanju. Very excited with this meeting today. Hope to learn a lot from each other around the world. I'm together with Napir, our champion, but also the beneficiary from most of our project from the ground. I can allow Napir to just say hello to you guys.
Hi. Hi.
Yeah, that is Napir. Yeah, without wasting the time, yeah, we are the Pastoral Women's Council from Tanzania, and this is the Women Lead member-based organization established for the aim of supporting indigenous pastoralist women to enhance their leadership qualities in women rights and leadership forums, but also enable them to participate in local decision-making forums. But also PwC build capacity to women and link them to local decision-making platform including the village council, water committees, land use, climate change adaptation committee. We have also supported women to form microfinance group, because previously pastoralists depend only on livestock as one of the way of their life. And in the recent year, the climate change hit a lot their livelihood. So we trained the women to start the microfinance group and explore the climate change resilient alternative income generating activities, so that they can buy food from the profit they make from their business. They can buy supplement for the livestock during the climate change situation event. Yeah, but also in the same line, women on microfinance intervention support their family to buy food, because most of the time during the drought season, women left at home with the kids who are going to school with nothing, no livestock, no milk, no meat at all the time, and men migrate to other places for pastures. So the microfinance activities support women to buy food, but also to pay other school fees, but other family contributions. So with this intervention, with our own champion on the ground, we build this capacity to enable women to be resilient with climate change effect. So with this, I'm handling this also to Napir, also to explain the role of women leaders for our champion on the ground, to specifically tell us, but will be in Kiswahili, but I will summarize, to explain their role as women leaders on the ground, on how they support each other on the issues related to climate change and leadership. So, yeah.
Habari.
Yeah, just say hello.
Mimi ni Napir Mukare. Nafurahia sana shughuli ya wanawake kutoka Arusha Monduli. Wamekuwa mmojawapo wa wanufaika wa mabadiliko ya tabia nchi. Wanawake wamenufaika sana na wamefurahia kutengeneza mazingira, na mazingira yamebadilika. Wamenufaika, wameacha kukata mkaa, wamekuwa wakivuna mbegu ya majani na kuvuna majani. Kwa sasa wanawake wamekuwa wakipata maji kwa wakati, kwa maana ya kuvuna maji ya mvua, na wamehamasika sana na wamefurahia na wameshukuru mno. Kwa kweli mimi kama mojawapo nimekuwa na furaha kubwa kwa sababu ya kuvuna maji ya mvua, na nikishuhudia wanawake wakibadilisha mazingira. Hata sasa wanapata maji, wanafunzi wanawahi mashuleni, na kwa kweli imetengeneza upendo mkubwa kulingana na maji ya mvua kuwa na matengi. Wamekuwa majirani wakisaidiana, na ile hali ya mtoto kulala bila kula imepungua kwa asilimia kubwa kwa sababu ya kuvuna maji ya mvua. Na tayari sasa wanawake kidogo wanaeleweka kwenye ndoa zao, kwa sababu wanawaisha chakula ya wachungi na waume zao wanapata chakula kwa wakati. Na
So in summary, she just explained that as women champion or women leader on the ground, we got a lot of capacity on the areas of leadership from PwC, but also the climate change trainings, a lot of trainings. Yeah, but also on the areas of climate change adaptation kind of intervention. So with that capacity, because she is also the women leader on the ground, she sensitized other women and other women on the ground, on the groups, to protect the environment, but also to do the environmental kind of friendly business. And they jump to the grass seed bank kind of intervention, where they do the collectively kind of business to plant the grass seed, but also to harvest the seed and sell to the community. So with that learning, those women farm have been used to train the community in large to protect the environment. So she's just highlighting that instead of women cutting the trees for charcoal, we are now planting the indigenous seed, harvesting the seed and sell to the community, but also sell the grass during the dry season to the community as well. So we are protecting the land, but at the same time, we have seen the benefit of protecting the land because we are now milking. Instead of milking the livestock, we are also milking our farms through selling of grass to the community, but also selling the seed to the indigenous seeds to the community. But on top of that, she explained that we got the rainwater harvest techniques, but also the organization support us on the installation of the rainwater harvest tanks to the members. So they are now getting water very closely, just to the door, close to the door. So they cook early, but also use the rest of time to do other development activity instead of walking a lot of miles to fetch water. So they are so happy with the same intervention, but adding that the intervention is most adaptive because the nearest community members who have money to buy their own tanks, they have already installed their own tanks after seeing the tanks installed by the organization. So the techniques is adaptive, is easy to adopt and replicated as well. But also she added that in the same line, we were trained and linked with the land committees. So we sensitize our fellow women to be part of those committees so that the women agenda, but also the youth agenda that related to women issues can be passed because we do have a lot of representatives in those committees. So we have a lot of women now in the land committees, but on the land use plan committee, but also in the climate change adaptation plan committees. Yeah, in short, this is what Napir highlighted in her. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Napir. Thank you, Joseph.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I do want to ask you, Stella, about the impact of the awards, but perhaps we'll come back to that later when we talk to the winners from last year, and then we can have a general discussion with last year's winners as well.
Yeah.
A request to the audience to keep your questions coming, so we'll save some time at the end to ask if you have any questions. But we move on next to the winners in our capacity building category. And this is the Espacio de Encuentro, forgive me, I'm going to not say this right, de la
Yeah.
Culturas Originarias, but I promise you, you will get to hear the right pronunciation in a minute. Alexandra, if you could play the video, please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oaxaca, a region of Mexico that sees frequent droughts, frosts, and cyclones. Here, communities are benefiting from affordable, relevant, and innovative eco-technologies that make them better able to adapt to extreme weather events. Meet the winners in the capacity building category of the Local Adaptation Champions Awards. Espacio de Encuentro de las Culturas Originarias, AC. This initiative engages communities in the development and implementation of eco-technologies like dry toilets, energy-saving stoves, fog catchers, and garden irrigation systems. Workshops inform beneficiaries about adaptation to climate change so they can construct, use, and maintain these eco-technologies. This creates and strengthens the community's capacities and ensures the project's long-term sustainability. Local government representatives are directly involved in planning activities, and community liaisons address the specific needs of their communities and act as interpreters for those who speak indigenous languages. Semi-annual meetings are held with beneficiaries and authorities to report on the project's activities and finances. In operation for just over a decade, the project now reaches 15,000 people, including children. Congratulations to Espacio de Encuentro de las Culturas Originarias, AC. Utilizing eco-technologies and sharing knowledge to strengthen capacities for adaptation to climate change.
Thank you, Alexandra. So we now have with us Xenia Carranza, who's the president of the organization, and we're also joined by Silvia Perez Gonzalez, a community representative. Xenia and Ilia, are you online?
Buen día. Hola.
Yes. Hola. So
Hola.
we have our colleague Alexandra Hillesheim has kindly offered to translate for us, Xenia. So she'll be translating. I hand over to you, and thanks, Alexandra. I hope the technical terms are okay, but thank you. Over to you, Xenia.
Thank you very much. Good morning, good afternoon, good night for everyone. I am Xenia Carranza from Mexico. I will talk in Spanish because my English is not good. Thank you. Hola a todo mundo. Bueno, pues el trabajo que nosotros hemos hecho en estos, durante más de 15 años, es precisamente apoyar a la gente más pobre, creando capacidades para que puedan adaptarse al cambio climático. Mucho de lo que nosotros hacemos es tecnologías de innovación tecnológica adecuada a las condiciones de cada lugar, en donde lo que buscamos es que la gente aprenda a construir estas tecnologías para que no dependa de gente de fuera. Y en este sentido hemos trabajado mucho con mujeres. Creemos que es fundamental que las mujeres tengan estas capacidades para que puedan construir y puedan también darle mantenimiento y uso a estas tecnologías.
Xenia, if I may just interrupt to say, could Alexandra come in and translate in bits? That's probably easier.
Yeah. So to translate what you said, so hello everyone, thank you for being here. The work that the organization has been doing has been going on for the last 15 years. And they work to create capacities for vulnerable communities and specifically with poor populations. They also work on innovative technologies that adapt to the needs of each place in which they are working. Specifically, they like to reach out to women in order to teach them how to construct and maintain the different technologies that they're trying to implement in their communities. And essentially, are trying to teach people how to construct these different technologies.
Thanks.
Eh,
Back to you.
Ok, en ese sentido hemos construido, por ejemplo, sistemas de captación de agua de lluvia para poder enfrentar la sequía. Tenemos varias tecnologías para esto. Baños secos para ahorrar agua y para no contaminar los cuerpos de agua, y también biodigestores que se conectan a los baños, y biofiltros que son para limpiar las aguas grises.
So they have various different technologies that are being used to maintain water and provide safe water. Specifically, for instance, she mentioned dry toilets, as well as biofilters that allow for safer drinking water, as well as safer sanitation.
También hemos construido estufas que ahorran leña, estufas ahorradoras de leña, que también algo muy importante es que evitan que haya humo dentro de las cocinas y de esta manera prevenir enfermedades.
They also are utilizing technologies for such as energy-saving stoves that don't use wood burning, for instance. So that way it's also healthier for people who are using stoves within their own homes.
Y por último, también estamos haciendo huertos con diferentes formas de riego para poder, para que prevengamos, hagamos un uso adecuado del agua.
They also have different technologies that they're utilizing within different vegetable patches, and they're utilizing different irrigation systems as well for these vegetable patches.
Le quiero dar la palabra a Elia. Elia, si puedes abrir tu cámara.
She's going to give the floor to Elia now.
Ahí está Elia.
Buenos días. Mi nombre es Elia Silvia Pérez González. Tengo 55 años de edad y soy de Zaragoza, Santa María Yucuiti, Oaxaca.
Hello, my name is Elia. I am 65 years old and I am from Oaxaca in Mexico.
Yo me dedico a actividades del campo. Nosotros nos dedicamos a la zona del café, la apicultura, dentro de otros trabajos que hemos sido beneficiados a través de ECO.
Disculpa, ¿usted se puede repetir qué dijo? Yo no puedo escuchar tanto bien. Disculpa.
Muy bien. Pues mi trabajo es dedicarme al campo. Yo he sido beneficiaria de los espacios de encuentros de culturas originarias ECO.
Entiendo. Oh, disculpa. Essentially, she works. She's a beneficiary of the work of the initiative of Espacio de Encuentro de las Culturas Originarias, and she works within a small community.
Bien, pues he sido beneficiaria con la mayor parte de los beneficios que ha dado la fundación. He tenido los baños secos, estufas ahorradoras, unas hortalizas de traspatio, un biodigestor, un biofiltro de aguas grises. Todo eso es lo que me ha dado ECO y todo esto me ha ayudado mucho en la situación de salud, de economía. En las estufas ahorradoras yo ahorro mucho trabajo. Ya no es lo mismo en los gastos de la leña. En salud, pues ya, comemos bien con las verduras, con el humo ya no lo inhalamos mucho, entonces todo eso nos ayuda bastante en salud.
Alexandra, you're muted.
Thank you. Thank you. As she had mentioned, she is a beneficiary of the initiative. They have helped her to have access to different technologies, such as the dry toilets and the biofilters. She mentions that all of this has helped her not only financially, but also has increased access to different sanitation, so has increased their overall health. She's also benefited from the energy saving stove system that we discussed earlier. And she mentioned that now their overall health is much better. They're eating a lot more vegetables now.
Pues por último, yo deseo de darles las infinitas gracias a todos los que participan en la Fundación de ECO, que me han beneficiado con todo esto. Es de bastante ayuda. Nosotros en la zona marginada somos muy de extrema pobreza, muy pobres, no podemos tener todo lo que ECO nos ha beneficiado. Entonces les doy las gracias a la doctora Signa Carranza, a todo su equipo de trabajo, porque ellos no nos han dejado solos, nos han apoyado en todo momento.
Yes. So all in all, she wants to thank everyone who was involved in the project for this initiative. She's very grateful and very thankful. She says we cannot imagine, how much poverty they come from and how much this has benefited their lives. So thank you very much to the team. They don't feel left behind, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Elia. Thanks for sharing, and also thanks, Zinnia. So we'll again come back. Please do put your questions in the chat, but we move on now to the third category, which was business adaptation solutions.
Muchísimas gracias. Para nosotros estar ahora aquí es muy importante poder hacer visible todo este trabajo y esperemos que se pueda replicar en otros países que también sean de ayuda.
She says, thank you all very much. She really appreciates all your support, and she hopes that they can repeat this kind of work in other countries as well. Gracias, Enya.
Gracias.
Thank you, Zinnia. We really do hope that we're able to also facilitate that kind of peer-to-peer learning, because I think I can already think of people who are looking for solutions that you already have. So we'll try to make those linkages. Thank you.
In India, water scarcity is a pressing concern, and climate change is further intensifying this issue. But technology can now pinpoint underground water sources and identify optimal locations for groundwater recharge sites. Meet the winners in the Business Adaptation Solutions category of the Local Adaptation Champions Awards. AUMSAT Technologies LLP. Innovatively harnessing satellite-based radar analytics, AUMSAT can remotely locate pipeline leaks in 10-meter thick concrete and pinpoint precious water sources 60 meters underground. The business model is based on users paying a fee per hectare per year to access a web-based platform and analytical services. AUMSAT currently has a client base of almost 4,000 diverse stakeholders. Irrigation department officers integrate the technology into regional and state-level water management plans. Farmers optimize their water usage for sustainable agriculture. Non-governmental organizations increase their impact in communities. And women, often the primary water managers in households, ensure water for domestic use is sustainably sourced and managed. The prize money will be invested to enhance satellite radar analytics and to launch hydro-social contracts that foster equitable water distribution and prevent monopolization. Congratulations to AUMSAT Technologies LLP, paving the way for sustainable water resource management in a changing climate.
Thank you, Alexandra. So now we have AUMSAT Technologies. We have Ridish Soni, who's the CEO of the company, and we have also Nilesh Yadav, a community representative, to tell you about this piece of work that intriguingly came out of India's moon mission. So they went looking for water on the moon and then realized this was a technology that also had a relevance on Earth. So with that, I pass on to you, Ridish and Nilesh. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Anju, ma'am, for the warm introduction. And I would also like to share a few impact stories and success that we have been able to achieve after receiving this award at the COP28 Dubai. So earlier we used to knock to the doors of big institutions that please allow us pilot. We are doing good work on the ground, and we had a large chunk of B2C customers like the farmers as our database. So they were giving us regular revenue because the kind of problem statements when it comes to water availability in drought hit areas of Maharashtra is a big problem. And currently, the government is the bandwidth is so small that they cannot reach to every beneficiary at the grassroots level. So that was the reason why I had to leave a very high promising job in the government. That was the Indian Space Research Organization. And I said that someone has to do the work of bringing that knowledge out into the field and benefiting the marginalized farmer who is at the verge of committing suicide, because farmer suicide is a very big problem from the state where I come from. So we realize that wherever there is a water scarcity, it triggers a food scarcity, and this food scarcity creates a migrational crisis. So eventually, as the population of rural areas keep increasing and migration also keeps increasing, thus the stresses on big cities also keeps increasing. So there is a large stress on due to the migrational crisis, and we have to from rural to urban migration, we have to revert the migration back to urban to rural, so that people can get the desired standard of living and a better standard of living and access to basic facilities such as water that can be helpful for their longevity and well-being. So after receiving this award, I guess the next largest achievement was we received the National Startup Awards by the Government of India, which for a startup in India, it is the highest award that is given to anyone. And specifically, the mentioning about the fact that going and representing India at the COP28 and receiving the award from such a big organization, it made a impactful meaning when you have to compete with almost 2,000 startups in the same domain. So that was a big achievement. And after receiving this award, we got a list of government entities to where the smart cities mission, they were like continuously chasing me. So I guess that initially we were searching for work, and now we are like saying, please don't give us work, we are full. So yeah, it's like we are overloaded with too many projects in hand. Then private organizations such as Selco Foundation, ICICI Foundation, SBI Foundation joined hand with us and immediately started giving us projects. Recently, today in the morning, I'm coming from the Tata Trust. So there are a few cancer research hospitals that are being built, and they require our services to cater to the needs of incoming people who are at the for the poor people who cannot afford treatment for cancer, they come to such hospitals. So the influx of such patients is so high that the requirement for water resources is much higher. So that's where we come into place and help them find the water. So that is one of the big achievements. Recently, the Israel Embassy in India awarded us with the winners of the water challenge across the entire country, and that was a big recent achievement that we had. And in fact, I also sometimes even I also have to recall what award that we got recently, but it's all because of the support and mentorship and the recognition that we could get due to the GCA local adaptation category, and it does make a big difference to be part of that thing. So now most of the ministers, they are calling us and telling that you help us we'll give you 60 cities to work out, smart cities which are facing drought. So you have to revive it. And the most drought hit areas of India, the municipality commissioners and the places where farmer protests are happening because of the lack of availability of water. So and it's like a cancer stage 4 kind of a situation for such kind of districts when you consider the unavailability of water. So we are going there and mitigating our solutions. And also, we partner with water.org, which is the largest organization in the world for as far as water is concerned. And whatever recharge structure, whatever recharge that we do in terms of saving the liters of water, that is converted into water credits. And that credits is a kind of an incentive that is given to the farmers. So you have carbon credits. Now we come into the water credits. And through the support that is provided by the awards, we also registered around 16 copyrights, 2 patents, and 3 trademarks recently. So that was like a recent achievement through the award. So I think the sky is the limit now, and yeah, I really thank the team and really love the process through which we had to go. Yeah, and yeah, most importantly, the biggest competition in water tech is the Imagine H2O event that is in Singapore. So they choose 5 winners throughout the year in 1 year for their category. It's a very competitive process. So this year we were the winners of that challenge, and we've been called in June to the Singapore International Water Week to demonstrate our product for the same. So that is the recent updates.
That's very pleasing to hear. Thank you, Riddhish. It was also great to hear that the promotional material that we produced for the awards was actually what helped you with the following awards, right? So it's good to know that even the write-ups and the videos that are produced are of use. So are you joined by Nilesh, Riddhish?
Nilesh sir is facing some issues because he's in a very rural area. And
Okay.
connectivity is an issue, so I'm also trying to connect with him. So the network is not reachable. I think he's facing some network connectivity issues. But yes,
Okay.
In fact, in terms of the literature, I guess one of the biggest problems that we could face is whatever work we were doing, we were not able to speak in a very layman's language, or we could not simplify that work to because I come from a scientist background, so my brain works in a different way. I'm a very technical guy. So I think the videos and the material that had been produced by the GCA organization and the way it was simplified to a level that it could be understood by a layman, that was amazing, and it helped us to procure good partnerships with the national and international organizations.
Very pleased to hear that. Thank you for sharing. So now we'll go to the 4th category, which is innovation in devolving finance. And here again, we have a really impressive project that is actually run by the local government ministry in Bangladesh and by UNDP, with support from UNDP. This is the local government initiative on climate change. And this again is a reminder that, when there is this kind of collaboration between governments and civil society, you can really achieve scale. You can really sort of go beyond a small scale project. So we have with us AKM Azad Rehman, the project coordinator of Logic in UNDP, and Tandra Malik, a community representative. So Azad Bhai, over to you. Alexandra, actually, should we just play your video, sir?
Sure.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
In Bangladesh, the local government initiative on climate change, or LOGIC, is enhancing communities' ability to plan and finance local adaptation actions that suit specific needs and contexts. The winners of this year's award in the Innovation in Devolving Finance category is the Local Government Division, Ministry of Local Government, Rural Development and Cooperatives, Government of Bangladesh, for its work implementing LOGIC so that climate-vulnerable communities can access markets and financing to upscale adaptive practices, diversify income sources, and invest in climate-resilient livelihoods. almost 2 million people have benefited so far, including more than 400,000 households that are now better equipped to cope with the impacts of climate change. Local people were involved in managing funds for 2 grants. Community resilience funds allow women-headed households to engage in climate-adaptive livelihoods, and performance-based climate resilience grants supplement local government budgets for adaptation interventions. Logic operates in 9 districts in Bangladesh, and some of the prize money will be used to support the highest priority adaptation project. Congratulations to the Local Government Division, Ministry of Local Government, Rural Development and Cooperatives, Government of Bangladesh, equipping communities and local governments with the knowledge, skills and tools to implement locally led adaptation efforts.
Thank you, Alexandra. Over to you, Azad Bhai.
Thank you, Anju. So sorry, I don't know whether my internet is audible or you can see me. I just stopped my car because I'm now traveling in a very remote place of our country, and I joined from here. But we, of course, I'll give some reflection on the award that we received recently with this, from GCA, and how it has been maximizing our, the credibility and the acceptance to the different areas. But before that, I would like to request our beneficiaries who actually are the forefront in this, in all this journey that we have been working with. So I'm requesting আমাদের কেউ কি ইয়েতে আছেন যে
I can
লজিকের
do the translation, Azad bhai, no problem.
Okay. So can you just request them to...
Yeah, তন্দ্রা দিদি শুনতে পাচ্ছেন আমার কথা? শুনতে পাচ্ছেন। আচ্ছা দিদি, আপনি যদি একটু শেয়ার করেন যে আপনি এই যে লজিক প্রকল্পের সাথে শুরু থেকে যে কাজ করছেন, কিভাবে আপনারা জলবায়ুর ঝুঁকি ইত্যাদি নিজেরা বুঝতে পেরেছেন এবং কিভাবে কাজ করে আপনাদের ঝুঁকির সমস্যা সমাধান করেছেন, একটু যদি বলেন।
নমস্কার, আমি তন্দ্রা মল্লিক, মোংলা উপজেলা জয়খা গ্রাম, সোনাতলা ইউনিয়ন জয়খা গ্রামের লজিক প্রকল্পের একজন উপকারভোগী। আমাদের গ্রামটা হচ্ছে একদম নদীর সাইডে, লবণ জল, লবণের কারণে যে কোনো ফসল হতো না, শুধু লবণ আর লবণ।
আপা আপনি বলেন, আমি একটু ইংরেজিতে বলি একটু একটু করে, তাহলে ওনাদের বুঝতে সুবিধা হবে।
শুধু লবণ থাকার কারণে আমরা কিন্তু ওই সিডার আসার পরে আয়লায় জল ভরে যায়, আমাদের এই জায়গায় কিন্তু কোনো ফসল হয় না।
দিদি আমি একটু ইংরেজিতে বলে নেই, তারপরে আপনি বলেন, তাহলে ওনাদের বুঝতে সুবিধা হবে। Acha. So her name is Tandra Mollik. She is from the Mongla Upazila, which is in Bagherhat district, one of the most climate vulnerable coastal districts in Bangladesh. And she comes from the place which is extremely affected by the impacts of climate change through the intrusion of salinity. জি আপা, তারপর বলেন লবণের কারণে কি হয়?
লবণের কারণে আমার খুব অল্প বয়সে বিয়ে হয়। বিয়ে হওয়ার পরে সেই স্বামীর ঘরে আসার পর এ জায়গায় শুধু লবণ, তার মানে লবণ, ঝড় তো প্রতিনিয়ত হয় নদীর কূলে। যখন ঝড় আসে, পাশে একটা সাইক্লোন সেন্টার আছে, ওই সব একটা ছেলে মেয়ে নিয়ে ওই সাইক্লোন সেন্টারে যায়। আবার দিনে ঝড় শেষ হয়ে গেলে আবার আমাদের বাসায় ফিরে আসি। এখন ঝড়ে ধরেন ফসল হতো না, লবণে ফসল হতো না, সব নষ্ট হয়ে যেত। নষ্ট হয়ে যাওয়ার ফলে আমরা খুব দুরবস্থায় জীবন কাটাতো আমাদের।
আচ্ছা, আবার একটু বলে নেই আমি। She's saying that due to the increased level of salinity, they can hardly grow any crops there, so they'll have to look for other alternative livelihood opportunities. And the area that she is located in is also very hardly hit by cyclones quite frequently, even twice a year. And during that time, they'll have to, with their whole family, have to go to the cyclone shelter, which also becomes quite a difficult challenge for women and children to go there. জি আপা বলেন, কিভাবে আপনারা এই লজিক প্রকল্পতে কি করেছেন ওটা একটু বলেন।
20 সালের দিকে লজিকই আমরা যুক্ত হই। করোনাকালীন সময় আমার স্বামীর কাজও চলে যায়, সেই সময় খুব দুরবস্থার ভিতর জীবন কাটে। লজিক প্রকল্প আসার পর সেই জায়গায় আমরা গ্রুপ আকারে কাজ করি। কাজ করে লজিকে আমাদের একটা ফান্ড দেয়। ফান্ড দেওয়ার পরে এই যে প্রতি অবস্থায় যে জায়গাটুকু পড়েছিল লবণে, সেই জায়গায় আমরা প্রশিক্ষণ নিয়ে লবণ সহিষ্ণু জাতের যে ধানগুলো আছে সেই ধান আমরা চাষ করি। চাষ করি, তারপর ওই জায়গাতে যে লাভ হয় সেই টাকাটা দিয়ে আবার আমাদের নিজের কোনো জমি নেই, কিন্তু ওই জায়গাটা আমাদের বর্গা অবস্থায় নিতে হয়।
আচ্ছা, ঠিক আছে, আমি আবার একটু বলে নিই। So around 2022, during the COVID-19, her husband lost his job, so they had no other, in a source of livelihood, and they don't even have their own piece of land. So they take lease from other people's land, like a small piece of land, and they work as a day labor there. So during 2022, she got connected with the Logic Initiative, and she received one of those climate resilience funds. And with that, they have now they got the training on how to grow climate resilient crops and saline tolerant crops. And that's how they are now using that technique and training and growing saline tolerant crops. জি আপা বলেন, আপনি ওই যে সঞ্চয়ের কথা বলছিলেন, সেভিংস এর কথা।
সঞ্চয়, তারপর আমরা ওই জায়গাতে ওই যে টাকাটা দিয়ে আবার আমরা জমি নিই, ওই জায়গার কিছু লাভের টাকা হাতে পাই। লাভের টাকা হাতে পেয়ে ধরেন আমার ঘরটা একটু মজবুত করি, প্রতিনিয়ত ঝড় বৃষ্টি আসে, ভিটাটা একটু উঁচু করি। তারপর আমি পাশাপাশি একটা সেলাই মেশিন কিনে একটু হাতের কাজ করি। হাতের কাজ করি।
So with that training, once they start growing the saline tolerant crops, their income started increasing, and with that, she is now able to manage a small savings from with her own money. And with that, now that money she also uses it for repairing their house whenever it gets broken during the disasters like cyclones. She also bought a sewing machine. She also now does tailoring at her home, which gives her some extra income.
তারপর কিছু টাকা দিয়ে যে জায়গাটা পড়েছিল লবণ অবস্থায়, সেই জায়গায় লবণ সহিষ্ণু জাতের কিছু মাছ চাষ করি আমরা, সেই জায়গাতেও কিছু আমরা লাভের টাকা হাতে পাই।
কি মাছ চাষ করেন?
মাছ হচ্ছে বাগদা চিংড়ি, গলদা চিংড়ি, তারপর হচ্ছে রুই মাছ, পুঁটি মাছ।
Okay. So the piece of land which was earlier abandoned because of salinity, she is now invested on shrimp farming, and on that area she's now culturing shrimp and then using for her own consumption. আপনি কি বিক্রিও করেন আপা চিংড়ি, না নিজেরাই খান?
হ্যাঁ, না বিক্রি করি।
আচ্ছা, so she also sells the shrimp cultivation and earns money.
তারপর আমরা প্রথম অবস্থায় ব্যাংক চিনতাম না, ধরেন লজিক প্রকল্প আসার পরে আমাদের একটা ব্যাংক অ্যাকাউন্ট হয়েছে, ব্যাংকে যাওয়ার মতো সুযোগ হয়েছে। আমরা সবাই মিলে গ্রুপ আকারে এক জায়গায় বসে বিজনেস প্ল্যান করি। বিজনেস প্ল্যান করে কিভাবে চাষ করা যায়। তারপরে আগে তো আমরা জানতাম না, প্রশিক্ষণ নিয়ে তারপর হচ্ছে আমরা হাঁস চাষ করি, হাঁস মুরগি এগুলো পালন করি।
আচ্ছা, So through that initiative, they are now been introduced to having bank accounts, and now it has given them a platform for the women leaders to sit together and collectively discuss about like small business ideas. So they have come together and discuss like how through livestock rearing, what are the breeds that can potentially can easily be reared in a location that they are living. জি আপা, তারপর বলেন।
এখন আমাদের ঘরে ওই যে জায়গাটা পড়েছিল ওই জায়গায় আমরা ধান চাষ করি। এখন আমাদের ঘরে বছরে খাওয়ার ধানটা থাকে, তারপর একটা গরুর বাচ্চা কিনেছি, তার খাওয়ার জন্য যে খড় সেটা আমরা রেখে দিই। আগের থেকে অবস্থা একটু ভালো হয়েছে আমাদের।
So overall, through this engagement, her economic status and the family living condition has improved because she has more income and a stable income now, and she has multiple options of livelihoods. Like she's now doing the growing the saline tolerant crops. She's doing the shrimp farming. She's also doing a little bit of tailoring, but she's also rearing livestock. So that gives her an opportunity to explore in different sources of income, and that gives her stability in life. ধন্যবাদ আপা। আর কিছু বলতে চান বলেন।
আচ্ছা, আমাদের এই যে সমবায় সমিতিটা হয়েছে, আমাদের খুব ভালো হয়েছে, তার কারণ আমাদের এই যে জমিগুলো পড়ে আছে, যেটা চাষাবাদ করতে গেলে আমাদের অর্থের দরকার হয়। এই জায়গাতে যদি আমাদের ঋণ দেয় তাহলে আমাদের মনে হয় আরো ভালো হবে।
আপনারা নারীরা মিলে একসাথে সমবায় সমিতি করেছেন প্রকল্পের আওতায়, এখানে কত টাকা করে সঞ্চয় করেন? ওখানে কি টাকা আপনারা রাখেন না কি করেন সমবায় সমিতিতে? I think she's frozen, right? Anyway, so she was saying that now they also have like a small cooperative of these women, so they collectively save money. And they haven't started lending money out of that cooperative yet, but she was suggesting if they can soon start doing that by lending money to the most vulnerable women, that could be beneficial for them as well.
Thank you, Shireen. Azad Bhai, shall we go back to you? Maybe if Tanra wants to come back later, we can go back. But for now, we pass on back to you.
Yeah, thank you. So I think you are now, the hearts, one of the stories of around more than 42,500 women that we've been supporting through this process, this initiative. And this initiative is actually helping the most vulnerable women to, to tackle the climate change crisis. On the other hand, it also helping the local government institutions. So in our country, the local institutions like Union Parishad is the lowest tier of the local governance, where people actually go for their services. On the other hand, they also receive the funding from the central government for the different development assistance, but they did not have the capacity how to they address the climate change as a priority issue on their planning processes. So this is also causing the structural barrier for women and the vulnerable communities to participate in the development processes, as well as contributing their livelihoods. So the other funding streams like the PBCRG is helping to ensure that capacity is the built in the local government institutions. And the other things that this initiative also has done over the time is to change a big policy, the shift in the government system. As you know, that the government is transferring the fiscal, the revenue money to the local institutions, but it was not been considered that climate, as a rationality to transferring this money. So it has also helped the government to identify. We have helped to build a climate vulnerability index. This index actually helped to identify each union's vulnerability to the climate change. And now this has been, embedded in the government allocation process, so that from this year, local government institutions are distributing or allocating the national funds based on the vulnerabilities. So most vulnerable unions will get the most for funding. So this is a groundbreaking initiatives, and I do appreciate with the GCA for the giving this award. It's rightly so that local government division is they're taking so much pride for awarding this this initiatives, and it also helping that this process has been supported by the technically supported by the UNDP and UNCDF, and also with some development partners like European Union, Sweden, and recently Denmark has also come in. So this all, it's a joint forces where the government is implementing the process, but beside this, the development partners and UN agencies are working hand in hand with the government for the groundbreaking initiatives. And now government and development partners are feeling more confident for scaling up this process, because it's now implementing in 29 upajalas, but this still there are many areas are lagging behind, which needs to be scale up this process. And I see that many MFIs are now coming with this to scale up these ideas, and also this process been recognized in many ways to the development partners, donors, and wide stakeholders, and also now we have been working with the developing a local planning action plan, so that these plans are also be ready for the next 5 or 6 years, which will address only the climate change issues. So these are the the groundbreaking work that local government division is doing actively, and become getting international exposure as well. And going forward, I think this initiative is in the process of a scale up throughout the national, throughout the country, and that will actually help the people to, they get access of the climate funds. So this award was very, important for local government division as well as development partners, to showing that the Bangladesh is also not only vulnerable but also leader, has the leadership role in the showing the the path of adaptation. So I mean, from the project side and from the UNDP side, UNCDF side, I would like to thank you again. And also the award money that this project has received is around 1,500 euro. So already, we got the clearance from the government side, from the development partner side, where we are also investing the similar amount for this with this award money. And one very innovative climate resilient infrastructure we built this year with this money, this additional money, and some of money will be invested in climate cooperatives that our vulnerable women very recently was mentioning about their this cooperative efforts, which will help them to setting up a medium-sized scale, a medium-sized business that will actually help them go they set up more profounding activity in their communities. So it's a great the recognition, I would say. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Azad Bhai. Thank you also for joining. I hope you can stay, but otherwise, safe journey to you. Thank you to Tondra if she's back. And also, first what you said, I think that, the sort of partnership between government, development partners, communities, with that logic has, is really so critical for success. So I will now, since we have about, I think, 20 minutes left, invite the winners of the 2022 awards as well. To please, if I would request all the winners this year, last year, the last 2 years, to turn on their video. If all of you could come on, I think this is a good opportunity for us to take a family photo. And also, then I invite you to introduce yourselves and then maybe tell us a little bit of what the awards have done, what is the potential in future. I think already there's been a lot of conversations amongst the award winners on what you can learn from each other, what are the approaches that you can, the technological solutions that you can implement. So it would be really interesting to hear from you. Also, if you see potential in the other work that you've heard about to support what you're doing. So if I may, can I request Sushil, Kennedy, Upamanyu, Arnendu, and also the winners from this year to please turn on your videos.
Yeah, I turned on my video. I'm there.
Upamanyu, thank you for joining. While the others do it, do you want to tell us a little bit about your work, your award? We have to keep it a bit brief. Hello, Arnendu, welcome.
Hello.
Hello. Any updates you have from us would be great. Upamanyu, over to you first.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, it's a good 2 years. We are actually doing good. And with the GCA, when we got the award, it's a lot of publicity we got. We actually nominated from UCAN is an organization. I think you only connected to them and we are able to get that W plus credits. Around 700,000 W plus credits are awarded. They are going to be marketed on 8th of March by UCAN. And then, yeah, there are several corporate CSR funders are supporting us. Then in 2022, we are at 15 crore intake, means we are able to get funding, but actually we crossed 25 crore this year. So that's how, thanks for GCA and the recognition we get and able to create more traction to the model, which is women-led climate smart agriculture. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Upamanyu. That's really impressive. Congratulations. Arnendu, shall we go to you next?
Yes, okay. Hello. Good evening, everybody. I'm from Rangamati Hill District Council in Chittagong Hill Tracts, Bangladesh. After getting the award, it was a, I should say, like great achievement for Hill Tracts people of Bangladesh. We really appreciate and express gratitude to the Danida, UNDP, and other donor countries, as well as GCA in this regard. After getting the award, a lot of local government organization come to join in this initiative. And last year, Logic project was also included Chittagong Hilltex. So, but the main concern was that when the community took 17 or more than they had planned, and Hill District Council was participated 3 or 4 project to implement, but the main challenge was it was a pilot project. When we got that year, it was this project was funded by the Danida and UNDP. But when we got the award that year, Danida stopped funding the project, and for this reason, we lost a lot of expert project team members. And from Hill District Council, it was not possible to continue this type of project in other areas. So it was actually, I should say, like upset for us. But I think if a donor and other agency would like to come and continue their works in Chittagong Hilltex, I think community people will be will get help. This is from my side. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Arju, can I come in just to if some supplement
yes,
with
go ahead. Yes.
So
Yes.
I think I was also the program officer for that program, the CCRP, the Climate Change CST Climate Resilience Program.
Yes.
So I think the biggest achievement was after that CCRP is recently, this follow-up program is called Community Resilience to Locally Led Adaptation. It's named as Corlia, and it has been approved by the Global Affairs of Canada just last week. So its follow-up program has been approved. Also, it took some time, but I believe that the program, the activities that community was initiated and the the benefits that they were getting, they're still continuing. But as this is a very unserved areas, it needs much more the support from the development partners as well as from the UN agencies. So UN agencies like UNDP is very active on this pursuing this process, and I'm just airing this. This has been a follow-up program has been approved, and I think it will scale up soon within the. Initiative will be starting from just coming month. Thank you.
Okay, it's really a great news, I should say, but we don't have any information about this. But I obviously we appreciate this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing the news. That is good news.
Yeah. Sorry, Anju.
Yes, go ahead. Yeah.
I want to share a little bit of the update from the award we received last year. That for PwC, we have increased our organization visibility to the government, but also to other networks around the country. Yeah, just last week, we have been in the Vice Minister of the Environment. We have been in his office, expressed a lot on the award. They are ready to come to us because we are planning to do the ceremony to celebrate with our members on the we have received. Yeah, but also we have been featured. Hello?
Hello, you're breaking up a bit, Stella, but we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, but also our ceremony event featured in the national COP report that goes direct to the, so they sent her the request to capture to the national COP event. Yeah, but also in the district level, a lot of journalists but other people came to interview us about the award. So, hello? Hello?
We can hear you, Stella. We can hear you clearly. Go ahead.
So we thank you so much, the GCA team. Yeah, and our plan for the award fund will scale up our rainwater harvest intervention that we have to other locations and recruit more women to benefit on that intervention, but also will allocate the same fund to scale up the grass seed bank intervention. So yeah, and we'll do a lot on the sensitization of members of Pastoral Women Council members to do or to construct the saving energy stove so as to reduce the use of firewood. Yeah, so thank you so much. So thank you so much for this award. I want to hand over Napi to say also thank you to the GCA team.
Asante kwa muda. Asante kwa muda uliotoa na asante pia kwa pesa uliotusaidia. Asante sana, barikiwe. Asante mno. Thank you.
Yeah, so on behalf of our members, Napil also explained that she said thank you so much for the award fund. We're expecting more that for Pastoral Women Council members to benefit from different intervention that will be used with the same award fund. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Asante sana to you for your inspiring work. Really, I think that you have so much to teach the rest of the world. Thank you so much. So, Sushil,
thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Sushil, over to you.
Thank you, Anju Madam, for inviting us and giving this opportunity to listen the very good works from all around the world. And first of all, I'd like to congratulate the winners of 2023 for their great work. And yes, definitely, we are also doing some kind of replication work together with our funding partners and donors, and together with the government as well, because we have been doing our work with UNDP since 2019, and it is still continuing. That we are actually working with UNDP and local government in 1:1 model. That is kind of replication of this degraded land rehabilitation in a huge patch of river banks that are being inundated since 10 or 20 years back. So the degraded land are really reclaimed through plantation and riverbed farming, including these marginals, especially the musher and this landless and small rural community. So this is how we are doing with UNDP. And in between, we also could achieve a very a great award from European Union, the EU Green Award in 2023. So it was also a great achievement for us in Nepal, competing with INGO, that is UN Habitat, and Dance of Aid and Clean Energy Nepal. And together, we were as a four finalists, and finally we won the award, EU Green Award. And yes, thank you. And also, as you know that we could also able to participate in Scope 28 because we were invited with our government, central government, as a to present some of our great work as a side event plan in Nepal Pavilion. So we were there to present our work and our actually locally led adaptation practices in that event. And that was also, the panel member was also from GCA body. We could able to, get him there in our panel discussion. So it was a great event there. And for that, participation, we were supported through FAO and also ICIMOD. And recently we have one, agreement together with ICIMOD as an NBS agreement, that is nature-based solution. They call it nature-based solutions, but it's like very much related to our local adaptation measures. So they are very interested to replicate those, kind of good work in the new river system, new kind of areas. So we are also working together with this ICIMOD. in a nature-based solutions work in Madhya province. And together we are also, accessing Green Climate Fund from FAO, that is actually working in the 13 river system approaches as a nature resource management and this farmer field school approach. So we are also working with them for 18 months, and it's been already started. So these are the great work that we are doing here because of our earlier innovations and best practices. They are really interested to support in a community level and providing some kind of support to our organizations. And yes, we are really working together with the local government, and that is a big work. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Sushil, and congratulations on all the other awards you won since. So we have also ADA Consortium. I know Kennedy was online, but I'm not sure if there's anybody at ADA Consortium won the award for devolving climate finance in 2022, but I think they may have had to leave.
No, he's here.
I'm still here.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Sorry, I couldn't see you. Go ahead, Kennedy. Over to you.
Yes, thanks. And I'm joined with my colleague Lydia from one of our implementing local partners. So she'll also have maybe 1 or 2 minutes just to say hi and also to highlight what is happening on the ground. So thanks, colleague. For Adaptation Consortium, we focus on devolved climate finance as champions for local climate actions. So we designed CCCF, that's a mechanism that supports subnational governments to have continuous and predictable flows of finance to local communities. So since the award, it has scaled up or highlighted our profile, both locally and internationally. We've been participating in international forums, the COP. We even had a session just to highlight what is happening at the local level. Even at the African Climate Summit 23, we were part. The funds were helpful also to help us have a clear vision in terms of developing a strategy. This one that I have, as HADA, we now have a 2024-2028 vision, clearly mapping the objectives and where you want to go in the next 4 years. It has also enabled and strengthened our partnership with the governments, both subnational and national, being a boundary institution that works closely with the national government and non-state actors. We've had interest, NGOs, CSOs wanting to be part of the conversation and be part of the Adaptation Consortium. So because I see time is not so much on our side, the award has really put us into space as the champions for locally led actions in Kenya and also across, because we've had international actors and countries coming to learn on how we manage to support public investments at the local level. So maybe I'll, if you allow me, Anju, 2 minutes to my colleagues, Lydia, just to say hello and also to highlight the work that is still ongoing at the local level.
Definitely. Lydia, pleased to meet you. Please go ahead. Lydia? I can see you're here. Kennedy, do you know if she's online?
You're muted, Kennedy.
Maybe just to to proceed, if she's not, maybe network issues, is that the work for ensuring that the communities, funds reach the communities at the right time is still ongoing. Communities are being engaged through participatory processes. They participated in developing and identifying priority interventions at a boundary level, the ward level, and they've pushed that to the government, and that has formed part of the government of Kenya action plan from the ward level to the country level. So priority investments going forward in Kenya will be community driven because that was the aspiration of devolved climate finance that we aligned to. And also not only a global community, but addressing different marginal groups and sectors of the society. So Anju, maybe I stop at that point because of time, and back to you.
Thank you, Kennedy. Thank you everyone for joining. We've actually run out of time. I don't see any questions in the chat box, but if there are any burning questions, maybe we can take one or two. But I'd also request everyone to please turn on your videos so we can get a nice picture. Somebody else has also done the same. There you go. That's good. I see that we actually have some of the technical advisory group members here as well. Susan is here. Excellent. I hope somebody has a picture. Good, very good. So thank you all. Thank you very much for joining our session.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, we have one more session day after tomorrow on stories of resilience, which again is inspiring stories from the ground in a publication that we bring out. Hi, Susan. So please do join if you can over there, but thank you so much for joining, for sharing today. And I hope that we can continue to, have more community voices coming up in sessions like this for the global community to actually learn what it means to be doing adaptation on the ground. So thank you so much for sharing, everyone, and good evening. Have a good day.
Have a good day too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.